Oshwal Association of the United Kingdom acquired the flagship community centre in Northaw, Hertfordshire, England some 40 years ago. In this video, we explore how the site was acquired. We listen to the stories of the people involved in obtaining the site. We listen to the vision of the site when it was initially acquired. Enjoy this fascinating historic piece of video.
Hi, my name is Kishore and this is my very close friend Chhagan Mistry. I knew Chhagan since late 60s and we both also joined Lions Club of Enfield when it was formed. Chhagan was very close friend and used to visit my Golden Screen office which I created in 1977.
Yeah, I used to visit Kishore because my first project when I set up my practice was right opposite Kishore's office, and it was a steel structure. It was quite a big project for supermarket, so I used to visit the site every day and I saw Kishore quite frequently. And also I had something to do with Greyhound Racing Association, who were trying to beef up their balance sheet by selling some of the assets, and they had decided to sell half of 160-acre site outside Potter's Bar, and and the site was to be disposed in two halves. So I approached Kishore and I said that this 80-acre site with a listed building was up for sale, and if you buy it, your community will not have anything to worry about for next 100 years so far as the center is concerned. And so Kishore arranged a meeting of various prominent people in Oshwal Association of UK. I brought them here to view the site. There were various prominent people like R.P. Chandaria, Rati Solicitor, Amubai of Kanti Industries, Rati Lal Danani, Prem Shah, and there were other couple of people whose names I don't know.
K.D. Shah was there.
K.D. Shah was there, of course.
And
they were and Javed Chand Haria, and they looked around the building and they asked me where the hall would be. So I told them where the canals were, that's where the wedding hall would be. So they then had a quick meeting at the gate, and they said yes, they would buy it on condition that I got them an outline planning permission for a derasar and a wedding hall. That was the condition, and only then they would exchange the contracts. So I took it upon myself. I say, and of course Oshwal were not going to be able to pay any fees because it was risk taking. So I said I would do that, and then I made a scheme afterwards. But at the gate, they decided to acquire this site, and Ratilal Chandaria committed £50,000 on the spot, and various other people committed their money. And I remember Amubai of Kanti Industry committed a little bit more than Chandaria Group.
Yes, they were the
and on the site, they collected the amount that was needed to buy the site.
almost
Pledges.
they had pledges.
And then they said that the access would be difficult for somebody coming from, say, South London. So I told them that M25 was going to be built, and that would mean that any member from anywhere in London could easily visit the site in a matter of minutes. At that time, the M25 hadn't reached Potter's Bar, and so they accepted that explanation, and I was asked to get the outline planning permission. So I had to tell them that I had to negotiate with the planners, but there was a loophole in the planning law at that time. Because this was a green belt, there was absolutely no way we could build anything. But because of this loophole, I could tell them that in order for Hook House to survive and to be repaired and to be maintained, we had to create something that would give us an income, and that would be a wedding hall. So they accepted that argument, that it would be self-funding. And excuse me. And after that, I explained to them that I needed an extension to the wedding hall. Wedding hall would have been conversion of the barns and the dog kennels. And for the extension, I created a derasar, which was just one mandap and one gabaro, one shikhar. So they said, what is this? This is a very strange structure. So I said, look, this country is full of parks with follies. So just think that this is a folly. Don't worry about what it looks like. It's a folly in a park. And it's a green belt, so it would have the right context and right setting. So they said, okay. And one of the conditions was that no structure should be above the highest point of Hook House. That was the absolute condition, because it would then overpower the listed building. So I had to agree with that, and I obtained the planning permission. I had to take photographs from Northaw, from all over and create a model and convince them that this is how it will look and this is how it won't overpower the Hook House or listed building. And therefore, I got outline planning permission, and then the Oshwal Association acquired the site. The keys were delivered at Kishore's house, because that's the only person I could think of where the agents could drop the keys. And I also remember there was a party to celebrate at Kishore's house on that evening.
That's supposed to be my my anniversary.
Yes, and it was also Kishore's wedding anniversary. and we were still very young. And so it was 10th anniversary of his.
And today is
and
52.
Yeah. As it happens, it's 52nd anniversary
Today.
and so it's a happy coincidence.
Yes.
When I recommended this site to the executive committee and the trustees, my vision for this site with 80 acres of land was that it would serve Oshwal community from cradle to grave. My vision was for not only to build a derasa and to build a hall for weddings and community activities, but I had even created a master plan later on for a nursery, a playground, an adventure playground, a school, a cricket pavilion at the barn for youngsters, and an elderly care home or a nursing home at the back of the adventure playground, and finally a crematorium near the pond, because that would have been a lovely site for a crematorium. So that way, Oshwal community would have been served from cradle to grave. But it appears that up to now we have got a listed building which is falling slightly into disrepair from outside, from cursory look. There is the hall that has been heavily invested into, and there is a magnificent derasa. I think there are quite a few gaps still to be filled in terms of attracting the youth of the community, attracting children of the community, and in fact members of all ages of the community, because the site is big enough. In fact, when this was bought, there was a very strong diverse opinion from some of the members, and therefore when the other 80 acres came up for sale, the community turned it down. Otherwise we would have had 160 acres here. And the net effect of this diverse opinion was that practically nothing was done for 7 or 8 years. It's only when one of the committees got planning permission for the hall as we see it now, and moved the derasa from front of the building to where it is now, that things started moving.
Yeah, I want to introduce Hansraj Bhai Gutka. He was our past trustee of OA UK. When we acquired this site, we had 3 major donors. The first one was Ratibhai Chandaria of Comcraft Services. He immediately pledged £50,000. He was the first Oshwal. Then, soon after, we had Bunty Shah of Bunty Industries. They gave slightly higher amount. So I think they were the leading donors of our community. And then followed by Hansraj Bhai's family. I'll ask him to say a few words.
Yes, thank you, Kishore. My family, Petrified rice is, we are from Kisumu originally, and when we had a business here as well. And we donated 40,000 pounds at the time when this land was purchased. The reason for was that we wanted to develop this one because we didn't have the money. So we were trying to get the contributions from different parties and different families, which we did. And we are very proud to do that because we can see now how they have grown up in the facilities. And that is how we have given the money.
Also, my family, we donated 7,000 pounds when we acquired this site. I'll follow up with Chhagan Bhai's vision. There is so much to be done. We got 80 acres of land and we can do a lot for our future generation for sports facilities. We can do cricket pavilion, we can do gardens, and he also mentioned about crematorium. We can do even old people's homes as well. So we should not sell. My advice to every future Oshwals is we should never sell even 1 inch for our future generation.
Yeah, thank you, Kishore. When I showed the site to the executive committee and the trustees for the very first time, I told them that if they bought this site, they would not have to worry about the community for next 100 years because it would cater for their needs. Therefore, I would very strongly advise any future committees and presidents to develop this site to its full potential. I had prepared a master plan for the committee, which I'm sure they still have got it somewhere in their archives, which included from cradle to grave service to the community. So we could have a nursery here, we could have we already have a children's playground, we can have for young people, we can have cricket pavilion and mini golf course. We can have an elderly care home or a nursing home, and also we can have a crematorium at the bottom of the site near the pond. When these things occurred to me when the site was acquired, and we appointed a Mr. Patel to build the chain link fence, barbed wire fence, right,
Yes.
right around the site
Yeah, I remember.
as a demarcation boundary. And I went with the surveyor of the Greyhound Racing Association to agree on the boundary. And I remember we gave a contract to Mr. Patel for 32,000 pounds. And this site has got so much potential. It has so much to offer.
Yes.
That it would be inconceivable for any committee to agree to sell even a square yard of the land.
We have almost past 42 years. We've got 80 acres of land owned by Oshwal UK. This is the largest Oshwal site in the world. How come we still haven't completed so many things which is required for our future generation? I had dreams. My grandchildren would come and play and enjoy the facilities. So please, I urge all the youngsters, youths, do something.